What up, everybody? I got a big old fucking stupid toothy grin on my face because my folks got back from Mexico and I paid them to get me some smokes while they were down there. And yeah, it is nice to have real fucking cigarettes and packages you can see. Like for reference, this is what a package looks like here, and for reference, this is what a cigarette looks like here. Like, they are so fucking insanely generic. Like the other day, well, last night I was really fucking stoned, and I couldn't, like, you can't see which side's the filter and which side's the tobacco. You kind of have to feel it, especially when it's dark out. So I lit it from the wrong end and took a big whiff of burnt filter, which just is never pleasant. Sorry if the sun's shining a bit. It's just, it's either it's gonna gleam around my head or it's gonna be shining directly in my eyes, and that's not fun. So I kind of have to weigh my options. Now, an interesting thing about these, it's not it's not illegal for me to possess them, but it's illegal for someone to distribute both 100s. So 100 size cigarettes. You can get king size, which like these for just to give you some perspective, these are regular size. Now, it's weird. King size and regular is kind of a marketing trick. They're both the same amount of tobacco, but it's a different cut. Like it, and the regulars burn faster, and they hit you a bit harder, and you never want to pack down. Like you don't want to tap the pack like the kind of thing. Like this is what a king size cigarette that looks like. And by the way, these are the only smokes in Canada, I think, that don't taste like complete fucking cancer, but they're expensive. These are a premium brand here, and they're not that different from these ones, the real ones, which this is my first time trying the real ones, and I love. These were Frank Zappa's smokes, so you can do this. Making smoking cool again. No, I'm just kidding. They're different. If you don't smoke, don't fucking start. It's a super expensive habit, and it'll fuck you up. Like for me, um, like I can see why um, people who are formerly addicted to hard drugs smoke cigarettes, because you can channel a lot of sort of your addictive personality, which I indeed have. I have no bones about admitting that. I haven't had a craving for fucking like stupid hard drugs. I mean, I still do K and cannabis and DMT. By the way, I had a fucking crazy DMT experience yesterday. Um, I would tell you about it, but I mean, it was so fast. It was so that like I barely can even like to find the words to describe it. I'll just put it this way: I went right into the Tryptamine Palace, fucking into like a VIP room. That was like, I don't know, it was like a stripper lounge, except without strippers and these massive entities that were like kind of globular and flowing in and out of each other. They had like these really bright sparkles all over them, and like it was the most vivid, bright colors I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, that's about where the trip report starts and ends, because after that it's color, 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 color. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I'm back in my body. Holy shit. Yeah, no, really cool. But yeah, like, anyways, other than the like hella ugly fucking pictures they put on their cigarette packs, this one's one of the tamer uh warnings on a cigarette pack in Canada. We have some pretty fucking ugly ones, like a needle going into an eyeball. This one's just an empty crib, which I was like, Bill Hicks says, he's just like, you know, pick your brand. As a low birth weight, I can live with that. um, he's making a joke, people. He's making a joke. People tend to take jokes a little too seriously these days, you know? You can, you I do believe what George Carlin says. You can joke about anything, because when you are faceless, or faceless, sorry, get my fucking syntax mixed up. When you are helpless in the face of horror and just you know, just existential dread-inducing like glut of ugly humanity and just deplorable behaviors, feelings of desperation, helplessness. When your hands are fucking tied, you know, it's kind of better just to make jokes about it. In the right crowd, people who will not just get offended, obviously, because, that's not fun for anyone. I mean, not that I really care about catering to people who get offended. I don't really give a fuck that much, but, time and place sort of thing. But I think it does, like, I love gallows humor. I love gallows humor. Why? Because it is a form of catharsis. You're like, it's literally therapeutic for me to, like, and I'm not going to misuse the word literally here, like, it's in a carry-on sentence. It is literally therapeutic, but non-literally speaking, it's like laughing out the pain and the confusion, or the powerlessness, that sort of thing. Maybe I've just been listening to too much Doug Stanhope again. Gotta say, I fucking love how unabashed that guy is. And brilliant. He's a genius. He makes, like, what sound like really stupid jokes that seem really like, oh, you're just trying to be edgy, but then the way, like, if you listen to a whole set, he'll, like, just with, like, this fluid ease and, like, subtle genius, he will do constant, like callbacks, call forwards. He said this about David Tell. Like, David Tell's jokes have five jokes within every joke he does. I think Doug Stanhope's like that, but, like, even more so. There's layers. There's layers to it. But anyways, so yeah, here's some perspective here. So look at that. You can actually see, like, it's been a long time, except for when I had the Dunhills, where you could see something on the filter that wasn't just like a number. Like, usually it's like a binary number if you get anything at all on the filter. But as I said, like with these Pall Malls here, these Canadian Pall Malls, which are definitely different than the American ones. They're kind of like a mid-range, almost. They were a budget brand, now they're a mid-range brand, but that still means like 16 bucks a pack plus tax. It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, like, you can see the Winston logo. You can see kind of there's these little, um, not grooves, but what's the word I'm looking for? It's a pattern that little pattern. It looks like a quilt blanket almost, kind of that sort of what's a word, like weaving, multifaceted little bumps that make it kind of stand out from your standard cork style filter. Let's give it a try. Winston's are the only cigarettes I really enjoy smoking in Canada, because you can kind of taste the burley in them. This is slightly different. It's got a little bit, I can tell, it's got a little bit of the Turkish tobacco, which, is very prominent in camels. Um, it's also organic tobacco, but unlike an American spirit, it doesn't take fucking like 10 minutes to burn, which is kind of like a pain in the ass. Um, Zappa fucking chain smoked these all day of his life. Like, he refused chemo because he wouldn't quit smoking. um, a lot of people get the wrong idea about Zappa. They think he was like this super anti-drug guy and a hypocrite because he drank a fuckload of coffee and smoked a lot of cigarettes. Uh, I've heard interviews where he's like, I think everyone should be able to do drugs. I think um, that they should be legalized, at the very least decriminalized and taxed. That way they'll be out in the open and people won't have this temptation of doing something, that is appealing because you're not supposed to do it. He's, when asked about how he felt about people smoking pot at his concerts, he said, I personally don't like being assaulted by fucking cloud after cloud, just wave after wave of pot smoke, but you know what? That's not my choice to smoke pot, it's the audience's, so I don't care really at the end of the day. He was just anti-drug because he said, the music I play is very technical, which it is, there's no denying that, You know, he is a composer. You know, he would have to practice at least 2 hours a day with his band. And he said, you know, this applies to alcohol and it applies to drugs. You know, it's a an excuse to be an asshole, which is totally true. Some of the most spoiled people on the planet I've talked to, and I was the same way when I was an addict. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, they're like mentally suspended, developmentally suspended. I'm not saying they're retarded or anything, but you know, they have this like childlike mindset, almost like a princess or a prince. Like, I deserve this, this, that, and the other. And you know, I think it's partially because, you know, hardcore addiction, like an unresolved trauma, which is usually what drives most addiction. I think concurrent disorder is like it's medically accepted now as a diagnosis, which is, you know, taking a drug to compensate for the fact that something is not being treated, whether that is mental, physical, or both. That's what I suffer from. That's what I've been diagnosed with. I mean, my doctor seems to have completely forgotten not only that he diagnosed me with that, but he seems to have forgotten what it even means. And he's supposed to be an addiction specialist. He's a specialist at anything. It's being a fucking dick. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a good fucking cigarette, man. It's a good cigarette. Um, it's got just the subtlest hint of Turkish. And for those of you who don't know, Turkish tobacco is like Camels, I believe, are like 60% Virginia and like 40% Turkish tobacco. Turkish tobacco is essentially like, um, you know, made in the Middle East, obviously. I don't know if it's still made in Turkey or outsourced somewhere else, but like they dry it in the sun and they treat it, and it has this sort of sweet caramel flavor, which is why you can't get anything with Turkish tobacco. Like, they sell fake camels for premium prices in Canada, and it's just like shitty Virginia tobacco that they outsource to Mexico, which is like typically a terrible area for tobacco crops. But it, because it's considered like kind of sweet, kind of has this like little bit of a caramel taste to it. It's like, oh, that's appealing to children. We can't sell that here. We know what we're doing, but we're not going to regulate vapes or anything. We're going to say we're against them, but we're not going to do fuck all except for regulate the tank sizes and stupid shit like that. But you know, this joke, it may sound in poor taste in today's climate. But hey, I don't live in America where there's a fucking mass shooting every fucking day. But I like what Bill Hicks says. He's like, people bitch about secondhand smoke. Well, hey, if I don't have my smoke, there's gonna be secondhand bullets coming your way. You know, I try to, when I'm saying that to people, because you know, I try to strike up talks, no pun intended. With other smokers. I go out to them and do the whole Bill Hicks bit of like, how much do you smoke a day? Pack? What a little wuss. You know, so like, he says what a little puss, but that wouldn't fly in today's fucking day and age. It's stupid, but whatever. You know, I don't want to like kill a potential interaction with a, you know, what's supposed to be an icebreaker. So I go, what a little wuss. I go through, you know, 3 lighters a day, which, you know, that's a lot. But with Bill Hicks, I'd believe it because that motherfucker chain smoked something fierce. Um, um, yeah. So Winston, very fucking good. Now, um, I have regular camels, and hundreds. I just brought the hundreds up with me because I don't want to smoke 3 cigarettes in a row. That would be excessive, even for me. Now, 100s they actually do have more tobacco. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, than regular cigarettes. Now, they used to sell 100s here. They don't anymore. Like as I said, it's like illegal to produce and sell them here. It's not illegal to bring them back from another country as long as you Like, you know, if you get I think you can get 2 cartons before they start like charging you duty. But yeah, like these were ridiculously cheap. I got 2 cartons, essentially for like $40, I think. And these are the real deal. I've had real fucking Camels. They used to sell in Canada. Now these are the ones with the little. This was also illegal to sell and produce in Canada. But I'm not. I'm not selling these things. Fuck no. These are mine. So this is the Camel Click. It's got the little menthol gel thing in the filter, which is it's interesting. I like that as an option because menthol cigarettes aren't always my thing. Like I hated them for a long time, and then oddly enough, they became illegal, and they still sold them in native smokes. And so when I couldn't afford anything, I would fucking buy them because native smokes are just like, I'm sorry, but they're fucking terrible. Maybe it's just because my lungs are a little sensitive from the scar tissue I have in my right lung from pneumonia. But native smokes are just fucking like you know, pardon my French, but they rape my fucking lungs. And I can't hack it. No pun intended once again. But with these, what I used to do is I would smoke half the cigarette and then I would click it and fucking roll it around, and you get this big blast of menthol. But like these things are strong, so I'm just gonna pop it. You hear that? And then you just roll it around. And so essentially, what that does is it spreads the menthol out in the filter, um, and uh, and then you get like a big blast of menthol. And what I like about menthol now, and the fact that it's like doing something you're not supposed to do, which hey, call back to the Zappa quote I was talking about. Also, to quote Zappa, tobacco's my favorite vegetable. It's like food to me. No, seriously, like it keeps me from blowing my fucking top when I'm, I just been putting up with a lot of fucking bullshit lately, and a lot of just discomfort from the benzo taper. Like I've been tapering myself down because I just told my doctor I don't want to fucking see you again. Just I'll give you piss tests, you give me my scripts, and fucking refer me to someone else. You are very unprofessional, and he has caused me a lot of fucking problems. Stuff I can't really talk about until I guess after the court stuff, but I'll say this much. It's essentially me being persecuted for just being born with depression and treated like a criminal. So I'm of at least half a mind to, because the fucked up thing is in my province, like cops can look at your medical file and shit just by running your name. And my medical file is full of some very unsavory, in my eyes, inaccurate reporting. Like it's got a fuckload of medications it says I'm taking that I've never even heard of. It's fucked up my medical allergy thing. And, like they were supposed to put in that I'm allergic to SSRIs because they were giving me fucking seizures, which led to me being misdiagnosed with Huntington's, which was probably the scariest time of my life. So like a neurologist showed me that he put that in my chart. But now my chart just says for medical allergies, zopiclone use disorder. Now zopiclone is like Ambien, and it's never something I abused. I used to be prescribed it a lot back in the day. Like they prescribed me Ambien, which is very rare in Canada. It wasn't called Ambien. It was called Stilnox. Um, and you couldn't take it orally. You had to put it under your tongue. I never got like weird like fucking like people said they would like black out and fucking like paint their walls with pizza or whatever, pizza sauce. Like they just do random shit. Or they'd have like delirium type hallucinations. I never had anything like that. If Ambien didn't make me pass out. Um, like you're supposed to fall asleep within 15 minutes, but if you combat that and stay awake, you trip. That's what people say. I never really tried to do that because I didn't really care. I was like, if I'm gonna trip, I'll just do a fucking hallucinogen. Um, Not something that sounds like more of a delirium. The only visuals I've had from Ambien when I just haven't been able to sleep is I would have closed eye visuals. It would look like chains kind of like running together and wrapping up, and like like the most vivid one I had was once it was like vegetation growing with closed eyes and a sleep mask on in the dark, and these kind of like Hellraiser when Pinhead shoots out the different chains that have the hooks and then pulls them apart, except not as violent. These things would shoot out and they would wrap themselves around the vegetation, rip it apart, and the vegetation would grow. The things would shoot out. Like that was the weirdest stuff I ever saw on Ambien. But well, I mean, Solpadam, still Knox is the brand name here, as I said. It's been a long time since I took that shit. I have no real desire to take it again. But what I was mostly prescribed, which is very similar, was Zopiclone. I was actually prescribed this without my consent. A doctor, when I was like forcibly locked up in an institution, was like, mind you, this psychiatrist did nothing but bitch about how all I wanted was benzos, and Zopiclone, Ambien. These are called non-benzodiazepines, even though they are like more addictive than benzos. They work on the same receptors. They're very similar to barbiturates, apparently, which I don't have a lot of experience with. I've done Quaaludes twice, but and I was prescribed phenobarbital for like a couple days. First time I got hooked on Xanax, but like not enough to really feel it. So I can't really speak much to that, but I never took enough Zopiclone to become dependent on it to even like really get rebound. Like what the psychiatrist did is he was like, you should consider taking this, and I was prescribed it once before, and I didn't like the fucking taste it leaves in your mouth. Like it makes your mouth taste like you've been sucking on like fucking old pennies the next day. For like a good half of the day, and nothing makes that taste go away. I fucking didn't like it. But he just slipped it into my medication, even though I said I didn't want it. And I realized, hey, I feel kind of weird and drowsy. I actually got a decent sleep, and so for the next 2 years, um, I would take the maximum dose, which is two 7.5 milligram tablets, and I would make sure to go to sleep within 15 minutes because if I didn't, I wouldn't sleep. There are times where wouldn't sleep, and like people say they would get weird visuals and shit from it. If they didn't sleep, I never got that. I just kind of felt like I had taken maybe like a couple clonazepam or something. Not that, but it wasn't euphoric like clonazepam used to be. But yeah, so I made like a choice myself to stop taking it. My doctor prescribed it to me again a couple of years later. Same doctor who said Zopiclone use disorder. Even though I've never abused it, like I've never taken more than I was supposed to. Um, it just didn't strike me as something with recreational value. But now, because it says that on every prescription form, like it makes people like doctors, specialists, neurologists, pharmacists really nervous to work with me because they think I'm gonna try to shake them down for fucking Zopiclone, which I'm not. Not. I mean, I could fucking go buy that shit anytime I want. I don't. I don't feel like I need it. I don't feel like there's any value in taking it. But hey, my medical file says otherwise, so you know, there's nothing I can do to reverse that shit, and it's really dehumanizing, and like this is how much of a fucking condescending dick my doctor is. Like I told him that one of the few things that was keeping me sane from the withdrawal, because I wake up and like for one I barely sleep because of the benzo taper. Um, like I have to get so fucking stoned just to knock myself out. Like I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but I've modified the sledge recipe to and substituted live resin, which is like 99% pure THC for keef. Just that way I'm not inhaling fucking keef into my lungs, and it's way stronger. It is so strong, like fucking like half a joint will get me fucking like tripping, and I'll usually smoke a full one and then take some Phoenix tears, which are like very fucking strong. They're like a ratio of quarter CBD to I think 3 or 4 parts THC. And I usually take the equivalent to like I don't know like at least 100 milligrams of THC 25 milligrams CBD after smoking one of these joints before I go to bed. Even then, I still don't sleep very well, and I still wake up in pain multiple times a night. Um, and like my sleep apnea has gotten so much worse since the benzo taper. Like I'll wake up choking on phlegm and shit, and that's why it's kind of nice to have a menthol because usually I have to get up and I have to walk around a bit because my muscles are so rigid and sore, and so I'll go out and have a smoke. And to have a menthol is nice because it just fucking like the menthols in cigarettes, like it, and I'm not at all saying this is like of medicinal value. So I'm not at all saying go out and do this if your lungs are feeling shitty and fucking all clogged up. But it has this effect that it's kind of like mullein, I guess, in that except probably worse for you. In that it sort of opens up your bronchial passage, I find, and like all that phlegm that's built up, and then all the stuff built up in my sinuses, which is usually phlegm too, after a bout of sleep apnea. Um, I'll just go and just like hack it all out, and then I can actually breathe through my nose and my mouth while I sleep, because I'm like definitely a mouth breather when I sleep. It was really nice. Fucking, it's got a very like very strong menthol flavor, and as you see, I cracked it like before I even started it. And like what I used to do is I'd smoke it like down to here and then crack it and get like a big ass blast of menthol. But as you can see, like the filter, it's got more character. It's got, see that little blue thing there? That's where the click is, the little gel capsule that you snap and you roll around. And then it's got the camels on it, and it's got little kind of grooves. I mean, I think these have perforations in them, and I'm personally not a big fan of perforated filters. It's sort of it's another lie of big tobacco, and this is why I like really am emphasizing that like I do not at all fucking I'm not at all telling people to smoke cigarettes. Like if you're not already a smoker, don't fucking start. Like it's not something that will even benefit most people. For me, it does because it's an excuse to go out every hour and to think about what I've been doing and to just, like have some silence, some time to recalibrate. Um, and it curbs my ADD. Like as I think I've stated before, I used to have ADHD. I used to be fucking bouncing off the fucking walls. Like I was out of control until I started smoking cigarettes and weed, and I just calmed the fuck down. Still have terrible concentration issues. I'm still frenetic. I still tangent all over the place, but I'm like that energy. It goes from my brain to my mouth, not through my entire body to the point where I'm like fucking all over the place. Um, fuck that. So you know what? Screw it. I'm having Winston because we're here. So um, yeah. Another thing, don't fucking chain smoke. Good way to fuck your lungs up, but I'm sort of celebrating because the last time I had real smokes was the Dunhills, and that was a while ago. Um, interesting fact. So these have 25 in them. In Alberta, province I've worked in, did a lot of farm work, driving, hunting up there. Yeah, good times. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the hunting part, even shooting like magpies and squirrels and other stuff that was like that were causing issues. Like the magpies they would freak out the horses and shit. The squirrels would get into the feed, so my boss, my uncle, he for one he loved guns, and his daughter is daughter now because we unfortunately lost my cousin, which is a story I don't think I'll tell because it's not my story to tell, but it was very traumatizing for everyone involved. Like I tear up just thinking about it. And I've experienced a lot of death. I've lost a lot of people I loved, but that's mostly their fentanyl. And at this point, as cold as that sounds, as cold as this is gonna sound, I'm kind of desensitized to people dropping who I know because it's so common now. I'll hear about someone I used to fucking hang with and they're just dead. Um, if I was to stop and beat myself up, like I see a lot of my friends who just like are permanently affected by deaths that happened years ago of friends who are doing hard drugs. It's like kind of something that if you fixate on every single one in this city, people you know, you will never get a fucking moment of reprieve. Um, but my cousin didn't die because of that. She died in a very mysterious way. That's all I'm gonna say. It was very suspicious to me. Um, it was supposedly an accident. But anyways, as I was saying, 25 packs. So last time I did serious work in Alberta, where we uh, we built a machine shed. Uh, the guy I was working with, who was like, he was a real handyman. This dude, he was a I don't know what native band, indigenous, whatever group that he belonged to. I remember he said that you're an official native, fucking. And I was like, thanks, but I don't think that's how it worked. It's interesting. He had kind of this self-loathing complex because he was Catholic, um, and uh, especially here, we have a very like awful history of Catholicism persecuting Native people, and so I think he's kind of at odds with that, and so he developed this sort of complex. And I think a similar thing is going on with. Sure, all of you are well aware of the Tyree Nichols situation, where this guy just got fucking like shit stomped and pepper sprayed and tased to death by these cops who were all black. The guy was black himself, the victim of this. The body cam footage is some of the most disturbing shit I've ever seen. And it was like essentially a traffic stop. It was so stupid. So I think there's a similar complex going on because they were like fucking. They got out of these unmarked vehicles and were like, fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna fuck you up, motherfucker. Like, um, and yeah, these five guys just fucking shit stomped him, who are all like two, three times his size, and fucking like pepper sprayed him, managed to pepper spray each other in the process. And like last time I was in the proximity of bear spray, I told the story where the guy tried to fucking steal a jar of weed when I was working in the park. And he had a hatchet. He swung it at me. He swung it at my boss, and my boss grabbed his hatchet, and they were just swinging at each other and missing. And I was like, dude, fucking spray him. And fucking, like, I hand him the fucking can, unlock it. Like, I know how to use bear spray. I've been bear sprayed. It sucks. It really fucking sucks. And it's very common for people to have it here, especially people who go out and mug because you can just buy it for like 50 bucks. Big can of bear spray. And this isn't mace. I've been mace too, and it's nothing compared to mace. Um, but my boss ran out and fucking blasted the dude right in the face, and fucking the guy stumbled back and dropped the jar. My boss though, he caught some of it in his face because even though bear spray, like which unlike the pepper spray these cops were using, it, it shoots out in a straight line and it goes very far. Like it's supposed to cover, I think, like 15, 20 feet at least. Um, but it's like if you use it, you're probably going to get some sprayed right back at you, especially if you use it in close quarters. Um, I was like pretty far from my boss when he fucking chased this guy down and sprayed him. But like even grabbing the jar, which had some on it, I got some in my eyes. My boss had a bunch in his eyes. I'd fucking go run, get him milk, and he was like, it's fucking burning. His face is all red. Like, it's fucking brutal. But these idiot cops, like, who should fucking know better, they should know that, like, they're only given mace to, like, disperse crowds and stuff like that. Not to just use collectively on one dude who's already on the ground because you've, like, fucking tased him, like, kicked him in the head a bunch of times. Um, it's a very frustrating situation, and these guys are fucking idiots, and I think, yeah, the point I'm making is I think there's a correlation between the sort of the brand of self-loathing that this dude, he was a great dude, by the way. Shout out to him if he ever watches this. He like, if I was doing something wrong, he'd be like, "No, fucking do it, damn it, fuck, do it." Like, but then as soon as I'd get it right, he would stop. Like he was only like an asshole about something if it was totally warranted. And as soon as I learned, and he would stop. And he would take me out to dinner all the time, fucking. But he chain smoked fucking Export A Greens, which are the strongest cigarette. They're called green meanies. Sort of colloquially, if that's the right term I'm looking for. Um, well, I guess I'm done this because I'm gonna have to have another one. Oh my god, fucking. I'm sorry, but cigarettes are like, as soon as I finish this taper, I'm gonna quit. And as I said, fucking because my medical file has kind of fucked me for life. I'm going to, I'm going to either like leave the province or the country. Um, I wanted to get dual citizenship for a while, anyways. So we'll see what happens there. But just because I know I went on a bit of a tangent there. The 25 packs they sell in Alberta, and I don't know if they do this in other provinces. They don't do it in our province. Like, no one would buy them. And like this dude I worked with, he, as I said, he chain smoked, so he would smoke when we were outside all fucking day. Didn't matter if it was like frostbite temperatures or it was like sunny. We were out there fucking working. And he would always buy the 20 packs. Why? Because the 25 packs, which people could buy, were like really unreasonably priced compared to the 20 packs. They were um, like a good extra $5 for those 5 cigarettes, and that was the last time I checked, and that was like it was like, I don't know, 10 years ago, and cigarettes were almost like at least a third of the price cheaper, and tax was probably about half what it is now. And tax is for like the Paul Mills here, which are, as I said, they were low end brands. They used to be like $8 back in the day. Like I'm talking like 10 years ago. That's like back in the day for me. 10, 12 years ago. Now they are, as I said, like 16 plus tax. If I was to go to Alberta and buy a 25 pack, it would probably be about 25 a pack with tax for what's supposed to be considered barely mid-range, if not a budget brand cigarette. But yeah, anyways, with this fucking Camel here, what I'm gonna do is, like I said, I'm gonna, like I used to do, I'm going to spark it without popping the mentholated gel cap. And about halfway through, I love that Turkish tobacco. Like, and as I said, it's not even much. It's mostly Virginia. So it's got like a little bit of a sweet flavor. I remember I didn't even used to like Camels when I started smoking because I didn't like that sweet taste. Like even now, maybe it's just because I haven't had them in a while, but it it's not that it's weird. It's just different. And when you're so used to the same very carcinogenic fucking tasting Virginia tobacco all the time. Like as I said, Winston's are the only cigarettes in Canada that have some semblance of like flavor to them. They don't have that little bit of Turkish these guys have, but you can taste burley, and burley is like kind of a spicy treated, I believe, in fermented not bourbon, but stuff that you put in one of those those big glasses with the stems, and you kind of you know swivel it around like that in your hand. Brandy, that's what I'm thinking of. I think it's treated with brandy and spices, and so you get a little bit of a spicy taste, and it's organic tobacco too. That doesn't, as I said, like an American Spirit, take like fucking 10 minutes to smoke. Um, but yeah, like with the perforations in these filters, they're very easy to cover up, and that's what most people, like in studies, it's shown most people even unconsciously will, if they get a lighter cigarette, they'll like lip up on it, or they'll cover the perforations with their fingers. Um, because essentially, like the idea of a light cigarette is that there's perforations in the filter, so tiny little holes. The lighter the cigarette, the more there are. Like you can, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little line that goes across there. In Canadian cigarettes, you can't even see where the perforations are. You kind of have to feel it out. Um, Even like full strength ones will have them. It's weird. I know some full strength ones in the States have them, in other countries too, but like if they do, it's like so small that it's like practically unnoticeable. But they're actually found to be worse for you than full strength cigarettes. I almost never get light cigarettes unless I have a bit of a sore throat, which is why I got the smooth last time. And these things fucking suck in comparison to like what I'm smoking now. But because of the perforations, like of what they are supposed to do in theory, I mean, well, they do this, you know, the physically too, but um, like the theory is that with the perforations, you're drawing in oxygen, and that is true. But so the oxygen mixes with the smoke, and you get a lighter smoke. But because it's lighter, you have to pull it down deeper into your lungs. And as I said, people will just kind of cover up the perforations anyways, like without even awareness of it. They'll just, as I said, flip up like that. See the fucking size of the cloud compared to like if I just take puff from the end of the filter. Yeah, that's actually like as far as perforations go, not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna crack this thing. Ah, there we go. Crack it, roll it around. Now I'm gonna get a serious blast of fucking menthol. Oh yeah, tasty, tasty. It's almost so overpowering though that like especially when you crack it this far in, that you can barely taste like the the Turkish tobacco. And the thing is, like, menthols aren't just illegal to produce and distribute in Canada, but in the States too now. Like Joe Biden, one of apparently this is one of his first moves in office. And I'm not going to say anything about what I think about fucking Biden, or, Trump or any of those guys. I mean, I think okay, I'll say I think Trump's a fucking dangerous moron. Um, but you know, that's a fucking like Pandora's box. I don't feel like opening right now. I think Biden's like just a little bit of a stooge. I mean, I like like every fucking president that the states has had over the last 20 years. People say Trump's the exception, but I don't necessarily think that's true. They are, essentially just a figurehead that's been propped up to serve the interests of their backers, which is usually the military-industrial complex, and you know, uh, an executive board or whatever you want to call it. I'm not an expert on United States politics because I don't live in the fucking states, but I live close enough to it. Um, it's like a hour-long drive to the border. It's like I think 3-4 hours from where I am to Seattle. Um, uh, I love going to Seattle. It's just hard now because like me and my buddy were gonna go on Boxing Day. I was just gonna fucking stack up on cigs. He was gonna get some shotgun parts because he goes shooting at the range, and like we're getting some really stupid fucking laws in Canada to curb gun ownership. Like I think they're making handguns illegal to own. I could have done my pal for to own a handgun. It would have taken me an extra day. But I just have no interest in owning one. I don't feel like if someone was to break into my house, the last thing I would do if I had a gun is fucking like try to shoot them. Yes, we have castle doctrine here, but which is actually a surprise to a lot of people. and his Trudeau are very liberal, fucking like bozo of a fucking leader. Uh, he actually reinstated castle doctrine because of a case where I think it was a father and a young son, and they were like in arm's reach of an AR-15 they had, and they didn't use it when their house was broken into, and they were killed as a result. Um, but like my plan is that if someone breaks into my house, like I do is I leave the light on going down to the stairs, and like, so if I hear someone coming in, what I would do is I would take some dumbbells, and from that light in the shadows, I'd fucking hurl the dumbbells at them. And then when they're like, ah, what the fuck? I just charge them with a fucking baton. Okay, funny story, real quick. Now I'll wrap this video up. Because then if I don't, I'll just be smoking more cigarettes, and I've smoked fucking enough. Um, like I don't even have a head rush though. That's like I am fucking nicotine at this point. Once, um, when I was renting out my parents' basement, it was a really nice basement suite too. Has a good cigarette. Leaves a really nice aftertaste. Again, I'm not. It's not worth fucking the like fostering a habit just to have that. I just have been a smoker for a long time, and I plan on quitting as soon as I get through this taper. Because if not, it's probably going to kill me. Because I've been smoking for 17 years now, on and off, of course. But like vaping, I can't even vape without getting gastric reflux. My system's so out of whack from this fucking taper. But anyways, yeah. So I was renting out my parents' basement suite, and had this friend at the time who, like, if I've ever known a sociopath, this motherfucker was one. He was just freeloading, like fucking, like, oh yeah, I'll pay rent, I'll pay for the groceries. Well, what happened? He fucking, I think he gave my parents $100 like a couple of years later, but he stayed for like I don't know many months. He beat the shit out of me, fucking like constantly chiding me for like the heroin addiction I was struggling with. Because projection, because his father is a heroin addict, and his father tragically died of like a massive overdose. He was a good guy. I really liked his dad. He has problems though. Um, I think some underlying mental health issues. You know, things that tend to exist concurrently with addiction. But in any case, this dude was always like fucking gung ho to. I'm running low on battery. Fucking, I'll wrap this up. He's always gung ho to throw down, and so we heard like trash cans being knocked over, and we went outside. I had some bear mace. He had a knife that I gave him, like a nice fucking Gerber knife, which I fucking should have taken back before I fucking told him never to talk to me and blocked him on everything. Um, so we're like creeping up, and we see this guy like running up to the back door, and he's like all in black. Well, I saw him anyways, because this my buddy was behind me, ex buddy, and the dude's like, I don't know, he's like, I think trying to unlock the door from like the cat door, and my cat fucking charges him. And I don't know, he must have thought my cat was a raccoon or something. And it just fucking runs off. He's like, ah, ah, ah. Like, and we just like take this big collective sigh. But yeah, no, that was wild. Anyways, my computer's about to die, so I'm gonna wrap this up so I don't lose 50 minutes of video. But yeah, thanks for watching me fucking, you know, put a few more coffin nails into my fucking system. And yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of in, smoker's heaven right now. Anyways, enjoy. Keep it real. Fucking stay sexy, you fucking beautiful people. Catch you later.